Welcome to the Life and Mission podcast, where we tackle writing and the storytelling challenges faced by nonprofits. Because if you struggle to tell great stories, you'll struggle to raise funds. I'm Kay Helm. In the last episode, we looked at gaps in your storytelling that cause friction. And this week, we're looking at the donation process itself. Let me ask you this. Have you made a donation to yourself recently? It can be an eye-opening experience to do that. If you go through the donation process as if you were a donor in your organization, you make that donation and you want to see what was the process like, how many fields do I have to fill out, did anything like, if I have to fill out my phone number and how many children I have, and all kinds of different things, whether or not I'm married. It's weird because sometimes when you do donations through a church website, they try to put you in the database and they want to fill out all the blanks, And so I remember I was trying to register for something. So if you do events, you need to watch this. I was trying to register for an event. It was just like a one-day thing. I was going to hear a couple of speakers and they were going to serve me a box lunch. So what do you need to know for that? You need to know my name, probably my email address, and what my choice is for what I want in my box lunch. And then you can take my registration money. That's all I need to give you. But they asked me for my birth date, my anniversary, how many children I had and how old they are. All kinds of stuff. And they're trying to fit, I don't need to give you this information. And they wouldn't let me fill out the form. All of those fields were required. So I couldn't skip any. So I did not go to the event. And so that is some massive friction right there. So look at your donation page. Do they have to make a lot of decisions? Do I want to add a note? Do I want to do this in honor of somebody? How many, I've got 5 or 6 different choices in what I want to support. Is there a drop-down list, checkbox, all these extra things that you're asking me, phone number, address. Okay, if you're doing a credit card, you need the address. But if they're using PayPal, you don't need their address. So depending on the type of payment that they're giving, it may be different things, but I would say ask the minimum amount of information from your people, fewer forms. Why? Because recent studies have shown that one extra field in your form can reduce donations by 40%. That is huge. So if you have extra steps in your donation process, you are creating unnecessary friction. Another big thing is how many clicks does it take? More clicks equals more friction. Do your donors have to leave your website and go somewhere else? Do they have to find your name in a drop-down list? And I know a lot of missionaries really have this issue where that you kind of have an umbrella organization or an agency that you're with, and you are one of many missionaries in that organization, and people have to go to this other website and they have to find your name. And so if you can have a page that's your page that they can go to and see your face and know that they're in the right place, that will help reduce the friction. If that's the only way you can get donations and people have to go through multiple steps, if you'll explain that very concisely, just find a really short, sweet, concise way to explain it so that they understand you're going to go here, you're going to look for this, it's going to be here. And then you yourself, from time to time, at least every quarter, every 6 months at least, go check that and make sure that that process is still accurate. Because if your agency changes something and you don't know and it doesn't match, that's friction. Okay, but if you create a clear pathway for people, that can help reduce the friction. Another thing that you can do to help yourself understand where there's friction is show your website or your written materials to a friend or to a stranger for 5 seconds. No more. And just see if they can find the donation button in that time. Shopping sites have taught us that the shopping cart is in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and that's where your donation button should go to, because that is where people look. That's not the only place you should put it. And I did a lesson on this for our mission writers, and we looked at one ministry. They had the donation button in the upper right corner where every donation button should be. They also had it in the hero slot in the big front image of their website. Then they had it further down as they explained what they did. And then they had it at the very, very bottom of the page. And why would you have it so many times? And I'll have missionaries that will ask me, and they'll say, well, don't I look greedy if I do that? No, because people are scrolling. And more than likely, they're scrolling on their phones, and so they're going way down. And then you've got to make them look for that donation button. Don't make them look for it. So it should show up wherever they are on your page, right? So they get all the way to the bottom, and you make them work to get back to the top. Don't make them work. So that once they get to the bottom, oh, there it is again, right? I'm ready to give now. And so wherever they're ready to give, right? When you bring them through a process, don't bring them to the process and then drop them off with no donation button. Give them a donation button. You do not seem greedy when you do that. You seem considerate. It's like laying out the welcome mat. So just do that, and it will reduce the friction. While we're talking about donation buttons, what does your donation button say? Does it say something vague like get involved or partner with us or join us? If it's vague, you're making friction. What does it mean to get involved? How many things are on the page when I click the button? Do I have other, like when I click the donate button, make that the only thing I can do on that page. All right. Take them down the path that you want them to go and make it convenient for them. Cut the friction. So the design of your website has a lot to do with whether or not people are experiencing a friction on your site. The big one is your website easy to use on a phone? Is the donation form made for phones? You don't want to have to zoom or click around or try to navigate. The text can be too small or too big, or if I have to zoom and pinch right on my phone to see the form, to understand what I'm doing, if it's hard to click on things, like if the form fields are a weird size for my finger, to click on, if the buttons are a weird size or the text is too close together, it's hard to click. So those are all design issues, and you have to have a mobile-friendly donation form. You have to have a mobile-friendly website. I'm not saying you should. I'm saying you have to. My coach told me this week that 95% of online sales are happening on mobile right now. And if that's true about people that are shopping and buying courses online, which is what she was talking about, then you can bet it's true for people making donations. People are on their phones. This is where we get our content now. So you've got to make it easy for them to use on their phones. Test everything on a phone, all right? Or you will create friction, all right? So let me sum it all up for you. That was a lot of information, and I kind of went on about a couple of things, but let me sum it up for you here. You want to reduce friction by paying attention to just these 4 things, okay? 4 things for you, all right? Number 1, in your storytelling, cover all the steps in your donor's journey. You need to tell the right stories and behave in the right way so that people can get to know, like, and trust you. Number 2, clarify your message. Just simply say what you mean. This has to do with your storytelling. This has to do with what you put on your buttons on your website. Just say what you mean. Get to the point. Clarity is better than clever. Number 3, make everything easy to read. Mobile friendly, skimmable, short and sweet, short paragraphs, reading level less than 8th grade. And number 4, make the process easy. Show a clear path and let them know exactly what you want them to do. All right. There are people there. There are lots of people who want to give. They are looking for a place to give. They are ready to give. They're with you. But friction makes it hard for them. We're making it too hard for people. Let's do our best to clear up the friction, make it easy for people to do what they want to do. I'm Kay Helm, and this is the Life and Mission Podcast. Find your voice, tell your story, change the world.